Ludwig FLAT IMPERIAL has made its grand appearance on the drum scene for the first time, I think, well, at least for a snare drum, since the first time since 1954, I think. Since the Leedy and the... Where's my stuff? Since the Leedy and the Ludwig version. At least on Leedy and Ludwig drums. Which is this guy. Okay. Alrighty. So what we have here is the prototype that Ludwig sent me because they love me so much. No, it's not. It's not a prototype. They didn't send me anything. They hate me over there. But what can you do? This is the drum. You know, I made a video back in 2012 about Ludwig. I said, Ludwig, you should bring back the FLAT Imperial for your drums. Now, don't get me wrong. I was one of many who was saying so. Although I do think I was one of the first and loudest way back in the day. One of. But anyway, so I made a video. I got all steamed because over the years I've made all these suggestions. I thought, you know what, screw it, man. I think I even said in the video. I think I'm going to make a video so I have a hard copy of at least me and some others asking these companies for stuff. So it was in 2012, I forget. So 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I don't know. 4 years ago possibly. If it was early 2012, I don't know. This is the drum I think I used in the video. This is a Sonor 2005, and I put these are original flat Ludwig Imperials. Of course, by the term flat, we mean that they're flat to the shell, okay? Because in the modern Ludwig era, after William F. Ludwig got his paws back on his Ludwig and Ludwig stuff from the Con-owned Leedy and Ludwig company, back I think in 1955, the version of the lug that they then used, what they did is they took this design, more or less this casting molding, and they put a little notch in it, okay, for the beaded, as we know, the beaded drums. You know, Ludwig has the bead around the acrolite and the supra/super. Super! That's super duper! But what they did was, ladies and gentlemen, starting in about 61 or 2, just after they went from the welded brass shell to the spun aluminum. I will say real fast, I think there were some welded aluminums too. I think I have one. But anyway, then what they did was they changed the specs of the lug. Okay? Actually, they changed the specs of the lug a couple times over the years. But so what happened was they went from this version, okay, so you can see, to this, okay. Well, there was one in between here, okay. There's one where they kept this exact cosmetic design, and put the notch in. But then what they did was in about 61 or 2, is everything was, to still keep on the Ludwig, well at that time what were super Ludwigs, they switched the lug around a little. What they did was they made, if you look here, see this chunky? There's the middle inside chunky, then there's the second inside chunky, and then the primary lug chunky, okay? So it's like an altar. Like if you're getting married, right? Let's say these are the steps, like da, da, and you go up to the top step, like that. So let's say here for process of explanaciones, the top step, what they did was, you see how there's sort of an equidistant, well, there's quite a big gap here between this one to this one, and then this one to this one. What they seem to do after the first generation of notched Imperials is they made this top one bigger, probably to make up for what the area, maybe they felt like the bead muscled into this area, so whoop, they made it bigger. So then it encroached upon the second step, which then encroached upon the third. So if you see the difference between these babies, you can see it in some other videos I have, but right there you'll be able to see it. Okay? You see how long this one is compared to this one. Okay? And indeed, the second one is longer than this one, but not by that much. Anyhow, so this is the version they had. Then a couple times to the late 60s, they made a couple very subtle changes to this guy. They softened these edges up and stuff into the 70s. I even think in the last few years they made changes again to the notched Imperial to where these are almost evenly spaced. And they look pretty cool on the metal drums. So they brought back the flat Imperial. So what they did is they essentially brought this lug back. Okay, they didn't bring back the original design. Okay, that you see on the Ludwig and Ludwig 25-year anniversary drums of technically 34, but I think it was celebrated maybe 35 or 36. But remember, 1909, 1919, 1929, 1934 would be 25 years. But yeah, so if you look it up right now, open up another window, type in Ludwig and Ludwig silver anniversary, and you'll see various Ludwig drums come up. Every one of the wood ones that is either wood finished, well, or usually pearloid finished, will have this exact lug. It's, you know, I technically should say it this way. Oh, because this is actually a Japanese knockoff. Go back to my Dear Ludwig, Make the Imperial Lug, blah, blah, blah video I'll talk about. Anyway, that's that. But you'll see, and what they actually did is when they really came out with the 25th year anniversary lug, there was a notch in it, except that instead of being like a perfect bubble butt, right, or semicircle, half a circle, nice shelf, right, you know, boop, boop. It originally was like 2/5 of an octagon, okay? So it comes down the shell, right? Right, like this. Then I got about right here, and then you have a 45. Then a straight parallel line to this baby, and then another 45. So, look that up. You'll see an 8 lug, I think 5, maybe they made a 5, I don't know if in those days, it might have been a 5.5. Ludwig back in the day made 5.5-inch snares. Even up in, you know, like Ringo's original black oyster black pearl snare might have been a 5.5. I'm not sure. But look at those pictures of those drums with that 3-sided notched Imperial. That's a beautiful thing. But anyway, so what Ludwig did is they just came back. They released. They have a modern Imperial, based, in my opinion, from the pictures I've seen, on the Imperial design. Again, not the classic original, but like the 1961 or 62-ish to, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. People might say until right now on the Supras, but I do believe the ones that they put on the Supra, and the Supras and Supras now out of Monroe are slightly different, just slightly, and I think they actually look better. Anyway, out for the beaded drums. Nonetheless, so if you look at your run-of-the-mill, grab a 1973 Supraphonic, look at the lug and just imagine that little perfect bubble buddy half a circle thing being gone, and there's the lug. Okay, that's terrific. God bless Ludwig. It's great they listen to us numerous Ludwig fans. Also, too, it's smart, Ludwig, and I think you know this because it's very competitive now. It's crazy competitive. Everything, even the low-price stuff, goes for so much. What the hell am I talking about? The low-price stuff is built so well, is what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of value to the buck, all right? You get all birch, all maple kits for pennies on the dollar. Anyway, Ludwig returning to the roots, bringing it back. That's like it's just magnificent. God bless America. So anyway, so what I have here on my sonar, now the reason, and I said this in the other video, why I have these on a sonar, is because the original. Let me bring this bag over here again, since I've put it over here 11 times. The original hole spacing of these lugs was 2 inches from center to center, okay? The ones for the Super Ludwigs that when the Ludwig Drum Company decided to use the Imperial lug for what became a Supraphonic, the hole spacing on those babies is differente. It's, here you have the nipple, right? It sticks out a little. But it's 2 inches, 2 3/16 inches, okay? 2 3/16. It's not the same spacing, which frustrated me in my attempt to put these old Ludwig and Ludwig lug casings on my Ludwig standards. Oh man, I can't wait. You know how cool the reissue Ludwig Imperials will look on a Ludwig standard? Now this one's all crusty and shiny looking. It'll look, oh, cool. Anyway. So yes, God bless them. They brought back the Imperial lug. But what they did was there are 2 sizes of Imperial lug. They brought one back. They're going to put this size on the snares, right? And then this size also on like 9 by 8 by 12 and 9 by 13 drums. And they're calling it like club date, which I personally don't know. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna say I'm just so grateful they brought it back. I thought it was great. Well, so they'll put that lug on the toms, or at least the smaller toms and the snare drums, and then they have sort of a, I think one about maybe 5 inches long that they're gonna put on the bass drum center lug and then the floor toms, a la club date, which is cool as hell. And you know what I'd love to do though? If I got a drum set from Ludwig, I wonder if I paid up the, you know, if I bought one, I think I would ask custom that they put the bigger lug that they put on the floor toms and the bass drums on my rack tom. I personally think I'd like that a little better. But you know what would be great too? Ludwig actually, up until not that long ago, on their concert bass drums, okay, you know the ones you see like at concerts? You know, they're up on sort of a stand that the stand almost looks exactly like a stand you'd see at like a hotel you go to put your suitcase on, except they put like a big 32 or 36 inch Ludwig bass drum on. Well, they used to have these. I don't have any here anymore, but the Imperials were actually about that long. About as long as the, not the mock lugs you see on drum set ones, but the marching ones, okay? All my marching drums. But you know the long classic marching lug? That long, except that it was the Imperial design. And that Imperial design up until maybe the 80s when they used it, was based on the old Kahn design. Like I said, that had the bigger spaces at each end. But if Ludwig, I think it'd be so cool. I don't want to look at Give Taurus in the mouth. But if maybe if on the bass drum they had that length lug, I think that'd look sharp as hell. Man, in fact, I had a Lydian Ludwig bass drum. I have pictures of it here somewhere. I'll try to dig it out. It was a 20 by 16. It might have been a marching drum. It was 16 inches deep. It was gold sparkling. You know, that really old, like that gold, like the gold you'd imagine the color of, like in Rumpelstiltskin. You know, like that deep, rich gold. But a really nice gold, nickel. It was nickel over. You know, I think in those days, a lot of stuff, in fact, was brass. I don't know if the lugs were proper, but I know the T's were. Anyway, but it was so sharp. I always thought that was so. Anyway, Ludwig, if there's a snowball's chance, I think a big, long Imperial on the bass drum would look sharp. Anyway, so in celebration. God bless Ludwig. God bless Ludwig Drum Company. Hey, they're making drums in Monroe, North Carolina. Hey, oh, they're really good. They're kicking butt and taking names. Woo! Oh. Okay, so there it is. I had to make this video because I know I made that. You know, Ludwig, would you please bring back the Imperial Lug? Well, now I have to say, well, hey, you brought it back. So God bless America. Okay? So. Thanks for watching. More videos on the way. Have a good weekend.